Alright guys, we're back with part 2 of this Malibu. Part 2 of the Malibu. So we left off, we fixed the fuel tank pressure sensor, eliminating 3 of our codes: our fuel pressure sensor performance code, our fuel pressure sensor circuit load code, and our fuel pump flow performance code. And as promised, I said we'd come back with part 2, and we're going to tackle these little guys right here, the 2645 and the 2646, I believe it is, for some kind of intake rocker arm solenoid valve issue. Both of these are requesting the mill to be turned on. So we're going to check those out. First thing we're going to do, though, because we are unfamiliar with these engines, particularly being a 14, you know, a couple-year-old car. It's got a zillion miles on it. It's really been hammered, as you guys have seen in part 1. This thing's been around the block a few times. It's pretty dirty, but you know, I don't care how dirty they are. But we did find that broken wire, so that was fun. Wasn't your just run-of-the-mill change parts, blah blah blah. It's finally fun to have a circuit test that actually pays off, because usually we're like bypass test, yep, need the sensor, you know, you do that like 50 times. And but in this case, if you were just winging parts at it, you'd have gotten in trouble. That's why we test and don't guess. Sounds like a good motto: test, don't guess. What Scanner Danner say? Don't be a parts changer. So don't be a parts changer. Anyhow, enough of that monkey business. It's getting late in the day. We got to get this thing. We got to get an estimate here. He's going to be calling in about 45 minutes to see what the dealio is. Let's see. Let's look up this code. So I took and pulled it up on the screen. So we've got the 2645. So we'll look at the circuit code first. I always like to just look at circuit description. Rocker arm actuator system enables the engine control module to change the camshaft lift and duration while the engine is operating. Camshaft has 3 lobes for each intake valve: the inner lobe for low lift and the 2 outer lobes for high lift. The rocker arm solenoid valve controls the 2-step lift by controlling the oil flow to the rocker arm. In default mode, a locking pin locks the inner and outer mechanism of the rocker arm together to provide high lift. When low lift is commanded, oil pressure retracts a locking pin within the rocker arm. The rocker arm solenoid valve receives a signal from the ECM. The ECM controls the rocker arm solenoid by supplying 12 volts pulse width modulated signal. The ECM supplies a ground to the low reference circuit. Wow. So this is kind of like, from the sounds of it, at a glance, Chevy's VTEC. This is pretty similar to a Honda. You know, it's not really a variable cam timing so much as it is this, you know, two different lifts, 2 different durations and lifts on one cam, controlled by locking some rocker arms together. From the sounds of it, I guess what we can do is just go right to the solenoid, because I see we do have a resistance spec, so we can see, you know, are we just dealing with a, you know, a simple open circuit, or, you know, short or something, or do we actually have like a legit problem? So I say we do that. We still got all our tools and junk out from the first repair. That one wasn't very tight. Somebody's probably been here. These are kind of boogered up. Ah, what a stupid design. I always wonder about like how much crap you knock in there when you do that. Oh, valves, where do you live? So we got like a valve here, we got a valve here. So that is the intake side of the engine. Somebody's definitely been in here. That's the pressure switches are new. We've got an exhaust side here. Got some other funk, I really don't know what it is right offhand. So buttons on my underwear, I don't know. What is that kind of stuff? Got some crazy stuff. I guess what we'll do is we'll, well, it's not assume. We almost got burned on the first video. I assume, let's set it again. These are the solenoids. Let's look. It appears to be a good thing that I looked. So these solenoids here are not the control solenoids for this variable lift system. I don't know if this has, you know, variable cam timing and variable lift, because these kind of look a lot like oil pressure control solenoids. But what we're after is actually under here. So what we need to do is we need to figure out how that little guy comes off. Set that to the side. Ouch, it's toasty. Yeah, there's the connector. The connector plugs into it in this direction. So just for grins and giggles, we'll take this off, because if we try to fish around back there to get any kind of reading or do any kind of circuit testing, I think it'll not work out very well. Of course, we could do it right from the PCM, but we got burned on wire colors last time. Oh, I still got some tools out. Let's see if we got enough tools to get this thing apart. There's one. There's it. So I got one screw, and then there's like a PCV system here on this side. Good on this one. Alright. Well, that goes down to the throttle body. We're just going to leave it like that. There is no clamp on that side. And I believe it's like molded. Well, we had two of these little guys. These are super brittle. Feel wicked cheap. You know, they've got these disconnects on, and you kind of push them open and unhook them, but they're only going to take that so many times. And that appears to be the fresh air side. Got the PCV of some sort, kind of crate and case ventilator. So let's unplug our solenoid assembly. It is a 3-wire. So center wire being common, probably our ground. Our two outsides are likely to be our control. Still got our test laid out. I'm just completely guessing at this point. We hold that. Mrs. O has joined us in the diagnostics. Hey, Mrs. O.
I guess so.
Go on and talk to her. May I ask you a quick question? Or do you just want to hug?
All of the above. All of the above.
You're a hugger.
Oh, your dog's going crazy.
Let's see. Ooh, that center wire is dim. That's interesting. Let me turn the key on. Remember, in the reading it says that the solenoids are pulse width modulated, and it also said that the ECM provides the ground. There's no ground on any of those now with the key on. So that's interesting. Is it ground side switched and power side switched? What in the thunder? No, I can't start it because we got the mass airflow hooked. Lovely. Absolutely lovely. I don't know. What do you think it is, Mrs. O?
I don't know. Too tired to think.
Too tired to think?
Whoa.
Too much partying this weekend. Well, let me look at, I'm gonna grab a wiring diagram. So I'd come back and read this. We're basically another product of bad information. So it clearly states that the ECM controls the rocker arm solenoid valve by supplying a 12-volt pulse width modulated signal. The ECM supplies a ground to the low reference circuit. Well, that's what I assumed, because this is 2014 Malibu 25 LS that we were looking at the right thing. And technically that cannot be correct because we look at a wiring diagram. So somebody's liar pants on fire here, because when we go look at this little fella, let's find this thing. Alright, this is down here. Where are we? I know I've seen it once before. It is right here. Rocker arm actuator 2.5, top right of cylinder head. So we can see that we've got our two solenoids, and then the common must be the ground, or so we thought the ground. So the middle wire, like we thought, pin number 2, violet with blue. So we follow that up, goes to number 9. We come up here, we go to number 9, goes to a mass junction, okay? Goes over to number 6. Come up here. Number 6 goes over and up. Oh, and it goes to a fuse. So how does this fuse that is hooked to all these other fuses put out a pulse width modulated 12-volt signal? The answer to that is it doesn't. I hate getting wrong. That's why I usually always go right to a wiring diagram first, because... And then where does this go? The other two wires are control wires. Step cam A and step cam B go to the control ECM left side of the engine compartment. So what we're looking for on that middle wire is power, not ground. So let's try this again. We'll hook our scope on battery negative. Key is on, I believe, still. That looks a little better, so we've got power. Hooray. What we'll do is see if this is the correct size pins. We'll get the other female half of these pins. Or not, we'll get the female half. We'll plug in and we'll do a resistance check on this solenoid. I don't think I can get my big dome back there to see it. We'll plug in, we'll just see, because we have a spec on that, we'll just see if these solenoids are open. Because we do have a circuit code. I think I've got the right ones. Maybe. Oh, thunder, where's my test light when I need it? That, huh? Serves more than one purpose. Where's my mirror? There's my mirror. Get the flashlight. Let's see if we can't get any of these probes on there using the mirror. Up is down and left is right. Oh my gosh. There's that one. I need to get our universal one here in the middle. I should have done that one first. Again, I clearly don't think. Get on there, little fella. Make sure I got it facing the right way. Oh, like a tiger. Alright, and we've still got our Varus out here, or our Vantage. Set this up on some ohmage. Oops. How many times a day do I say that? We'll get it on, we don't want an auto scale, we'll put it on a 50 ohm scale. Can you guys see it? I don't know. Let's go, this is coil 1. What do we got? OL it says. Oh! Let's make sure our leads are good. 0.3. So let me turn this real quick so I can see it. We will put on auto now to see if it is with high resistance. And it says 4.15 mega ohms. So that side of the coil is junk. What wire is that? That is color wire. Black with a purple stripe. Alright, let's go on the other side of the coil here, because there's two sides of the solenoid. Get my mirror. Hey, mirror. No, you mirror. Oh, I can't do it here. There's that one. Why did I pull the center one back off? Anybody? Alright, looks like those two little guys are hooked up. That one is 24.8 ohms, so one of the coils is good. So 25 ohms. The one on that side, let's just double check it, leave our center one hooked up, and make sure we had good contact. I believe we did, it felt good. I mean, it was good for me. Let's just see. And we've got oh, it's getting better. No, it's getting worse. 4.6 mega ohms. Okay, so got the same reading twice or thereabouts. Let's see which side of the solenoid that is. I can't tell, this light's too bright. Looks like a pink or a purple with a black stripe. So let's see what that is. According to our diagram, it is actually a purple with a gray stripe. It looks black. Oh, I can't see very well today. So that is step cam A control. So what we'll do, I mean, the solenoid's junk, it needs that, but let's make sure that, you know, I'll just look through the data, you know, check the code setting criteria. We'll see what that is. Make sure that this can cause that. P2645. We'll get back to where our code is. Look at the code setting criteria, see what it's looking for. Being it's a circuit code, I can only assume it's that, but I mean, you know, this thing, you could be here all day looking at this garbage, these factory flow charts and stuff. Conditions for running code, it says. Ignition greater than 11 volts, crank or run position, continuously run. That's it. What's it looking for? Conditions for setting code. ECM detects that the commanded state of the driver and actual state of the control circuit do not match for greater than 2.5 seconds. So that's good. 2645, we got to look at the circuit description. We got to see which side of this coil it's looking at, I assume. Because, let's get our computer here. Because I think that said like valve 1 or something, and this was... Yeah, solenoid valve 1 control circuit. So this called it, you know, A. A and 1 are usually the same. B and 2 would be interesting. Key on, engine off. With it unplugged, let's see if we've got a circuit code for number 2. Where am I? Of course, we've been unplugging the ECM and stuff. This thing could have like a bazillion codes in it. Not quite a bazillion, but... Actually, no, it only has 3. Intake rocker arm solenoid valve 1 circuit. That's kind of interesting. Oh, probably, let's see, what's it got to be? Ignition greater than... Oh, it has to be in the crank or the run position. Oh, we're in the run position. I'm kind of curious that it doesn't throw a valve number 2 code. Of course, we got our fuel pressure sensor low code because we were unhooking and rehooking and transmission codes because we were unplugging the ECM and all that business. So I'm not too worried about that. Pretty interesting here. So I'm going to poke through this and let you guys know what I decide. Okie dokie, so it appears we were right. No place to set this here. Let's see. What we're going to do now, because we don't want to get burned, is circuit test the circuit. How's that? It's fancy terminology. We still got our junk laying out here. Hold on, people. Hold on. We're victims of a messy wire setup. So let's test our intake rocker arm solenoid valve 1 control circuit from the PCM. So we're going to front probe this. I don't really have the right pins. These pins are a little loose fitting. What we'll do is the key's on right now. We'll plug it into the ground side there. We'll plug our test light into the control side. Wow, everything is just falling apart in me right now. Need one of Ivan's fancy test. Holy crap, biscuit! Ivan's got a test light with banana jack adapters on it. I'm gonna need to get me some of that. I'm always doing this. It's always a delicate balancing act. So we've got power, so we know that one's good. Okay. We plug into the control side here. Okay, the test light is into the control side, which, as we've learned, should be a ground side pulse width modulated, unlike what the literature says. So I'm going in bidirectionally here. Oh, it wants me to start the engine. I don't want to start the engine. I was hoping we could do this bidirectionally. Let's plug this little guy back in. Everything's gonna vibrate around on me now. Let me go start it. Alright. Engine coolant temperature out of range, of course. So we can't do anything because the test can't be met. So we're gonna have to let it cool down. Warm up when the other thing's pretty warm right now. Yeah, it's hot. So right now it's in a high lift state. Of course, we did read that it would have to be commanded to a low lift state. Ah, gosh. And apparently it has some kind of coolant temperature cutout. What's our coolant temp right now? Our coolant temp. Well, we'll let it warm up. Right now it's only at 124, so we'll see what happens. So we left it running a little while. Of course, the PCV hose and stuff is off it. But, so we're going to command it on a low lift. We'll see if our light lights up. And we're shut down again. DTC present. Well, this is kind of like... Well, we're not going to be able to do it. We shut it off. Oh, yeah. I wish we could just bidirectionally control it without, having to have the engine on and all that hoopla. Because if we plug it in, it's just going to set a dang code anyways. What do you say? Maybe, is it a 2-trip code? It was a continuously monitored unit, wasn't it? What's it say? Oh, I don't feel like reading right now. Sick of reading this. So it's every day is reading. crappy read's not true half the time anyways. So let's try that. I would like to make sure. So typically when you have an open solenoid, you don't have to worry much about the PCM driver being smoked. But, you know, how do you feel if you quote a guy for a solenoid, find out, yeah, solenoid's junk, so is the, you know, ECM. So we're gonna back probe control side of the number 1. All right, we'll get that around here. Of course, test light's gonna have to be hooked to power. All right, because it's gonna be sending power through the coil. If the coil is any good, which it isn't. Technically, if we were hooked to ground and we tested the other side, it would light up our test light because it's just going through a 25 ohm resistor. This side is not going to light up our test light with the key on because of the high resistance in that coil. So we can see right here. So this is plugged into rocker arm solenoid number 1. Let's see, if we were hooked to ground, it would light up if the coil was good, which it is not. So the coil's not lighting up, or the test light's not lighting up. So let me go into the control side of the other one. That should light up. And it lights up. Okay. So let me get plugged back in. Actually, I want to unplug the connector because I want to make darn sure that we're in good. Oh, feels like it is. What do I know? So we're going to go to the power side. Very positive with our test light. Come on, dummy. Alright, we're in the control side. We need to hook this up. What else do we need to do? We need to clear our codes, which will probably come right back. Where do you clear codes? Engine control module. Trouble codes. Ah, clear DTC it says. Are you sure? Of course I am. Why didn't you clear the codes? Come on, keep clearing, folks. It's like it's clearing one at a time. Fuel pressure sensor circuit low voltage. Oh, duh, because we got our jumper wire off the back. Boy, it throws that code immediately, huh? Wow. So let's start it. To active test, intake rocker arm solenoid actuator number 1. All we want to do is see our test light blink. Go to low lift. Engine coolant temperature out of range, it says. We'll let it run for a little while here. Let's just go see if it set a code before we get too excited. No code yet, so that's good. The only code we have is our fuel pressure sensor code, which we know the answer to that. For part 1. Congratulations to anybody that's stuck it out this far. I feel like I wasted half my day here. Let's try this again. Hey, look, test light's blinking. Look, check it out. That's on the low lift setting. Go back to high lift, which is default. Low lift. Bam, circuit verification. That's all I wanted to see. making a mountain out of a molehill. Why we couldn't just actuate this stinking stink pot thing without the engine running and the code's cleared. And so there, stuck off. So it's stuck in the high lift position. So that eliminates two codes. If we fix that solenoid, assuming, there's still an assumption, I mean there could be a problem with the rocker arms and stuff, but fact of the matter is we can go through, we can look at data, we can look at, you know, commanded versus actual for this, for the lift side of this intake one system over here. The fact is we're not going to see it change because that solenoid is bad. We know that. So it indeed is going to be stuck off in the high lift position. So there is no sense in going any further until we change that solenoid. And that will fix. We got to go back. We'll go back to our beginning here where we saved our, what did we save? We saved our codes. So that's going to fix, that one solenoid will fix these two codes, the 2646 and the 2645. Of course, our control circuit code, it's going to be open. But essentially we have an open circuit, and then the solenoid valve being stuck off naturally, it's going to throw that code because it can't be turned on. So that leaves only one code remaining that I'm going to check just for my own curiosity, which is the evap small leak. Even though it is not requesting the engine light, it is in history, has passed and has failed. I want to find out. I do not want this feller picking up the car, driving down the road, runs a drive cycle, throws a small leak code, and he comes back up my buns because I supposedly just fixed it. Does that make sense? Sometimes customers don't understand, particularly when you're dealing with multiple, you know, codes like this. You know, obviously, 3 separate problems. You know, multiple codes, 3 codes from one problem. You know, 2 codes from another, and then potentially this leak code. Foolishly, I did not check to see if the drive cycle was done. That is a rookie mistake. Well, there's nothing I can do about that. Live and learn. 37 years old and I haven't learned yet. There's always tomorrow. I can screw more things up tomorrow, trust me. So we'll stick this little guy on. Oh my gosh, it's gonna break. Get everything lined up. Looks like there's a little rubber donger in the back it lines up on. Wow, what a gem. Oh, I see. So somebody's already cut these zip ties. That's why that thing came up like that. So it appears that it's supposed to have this hose hooked to the back. We didn't hook any of that. Which hose is that? That one? So the first guy just went gorilla with this thing. It's got a zip tie, it's supposed to be back there. Wow. Wowee. Unbelievable. So I guess that sits on there, and that originally would have been zip tied. If it's a coolant hose or something, it would have been zip tied there. So we'll fix that when it comes in for the repair. Not a huge deal. Put the nut back in, or the bolt, whatever you want to call it. That little fella. I wonder what the air filter looks like in this thing. Probably not too good. I just realized you guys probably couldn't see anything we just did. Let's see, I think that's it. Put that little cover on for what it's worth. And then where's the, is there an evac testing port here somewhere? What do we got here? That looks like evac. It's got green on it. That goes under that little fella. Right, ring on down somewhere. I don't know where, but I'm gonna hook it there and hook the smoke machine to it, because it appears that it will just come unhooked right here. Don't get too carried away. Are you kidding me? This car has been a fighter. Oh, that's just the lock. And it has a retainer. Wow. The GM is starting to piss me off today. It has a lock for the fuel vapor hose. And you got to push the little downer down to release it. Which way did that go? That went that way. Wow. Way to go, General Motors. Alright, so now I think what I'll do is I'll get my smoke machine. And I'm going to leave you hanging there, folks. No sense in bringing you along for the run-of-the-mill smoke test. Just going to seal off the system. If that's what it is, I don't know if this has a vent solenoid or maybe it's ignition off system. You know, the ignition off evap system. I don't know. I'm going to actually have to look. If it is something cool, I'll turn it back on, but if it's just your run-of-the-mill, I got to look right now. I need to know. Key off evap systems, is that what they call them? I think GM started implementing some of those, didn't they? I thought I read that. What do I know? Let's see if it has a bi-directional control. Oh, wait a minute. I'm not even in the engine module. I just want to see if it has a vent solenoid. Special function active test. Let's see. Evap system test. Evap emissions. Let's go to evap emissions. Vent solenoid valve. Purge and seal. Standard run-of-the-mill GM. I do know several manufacturers are starting to implement that ignition off or key off evap systems. Or natural vacuum leak detection systems, or 12-volt powered pumps that will do your evap testing after the car's sat, cold soaked. The volatile fuels have settled down and all that. So just so much to learn, just constant, ongoing. Of course, we just kind of roll with the punches here. You can't learn everything, so you just kind of got to adapt on the fly. That may sound silly, but that's all there is to it. Like, for example, I've never worked on one of these, but you just kind of go with it, and sure, we'll see more in the future. This just kind of helps prepare us a little bit, perhaps, about what these systems are. All said and done, we're out of here. Thanks for watching.